Right on to our first speaker. I'll hand it over to Jackie to start introducing that first speaker, Consuela Gaines.
Miss Consuela Gaines is my dear friend and also the head of Voice of the Experience, an organization comprised of formerly incarcerated people and allies. And she's here to speak to us about Unleash Local.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. Thank you, Unleash Lafayette, for inviting me for this very, very important occasion. I am the community organizer for Voice of the Experience, which is a grassroots organization that was formed by and currently ran by formerly incarcerated people who are constantly fighting and educating people about our civil rights. And that brings me here today about our wages and how important it is for us to be different than the federal wages. Coming out of prison, it is so hard to reintegrate back into society. And working on a wage that is so low is unfathomable to think that people can pay parole fees, take care of their families on these type of wages. And for it to be placed into local government would be better for all involved. It would be better for our community and our economy here in Lafayette. And that's why we're in support of the wages being raised locally, and they can do it. And it's something that probably should have been done a long time ago. And as we're seeing, there are several other states who have moved away from allowing the federal government or the state to determine their wages and placed it in cities and parishes or counties to decide what their wages will be. Give it back to the people who it affects the most, because I doubt very seriously if our legislators would be willing to work at those same wages that they're placing us at.
Yeah.
I doubt very seriously if the powers that be would be okay with working 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week at the wages that they are expecting us to live by and raise our children by. So that's why I'm here today and standing in unity with Unleash and hoping that our voices will be heard very soon and that this will be changed, because change is coming and it's coming in waves, and it's time for Louisiana to hop on board and ride that wave right on in there. You know, and bring that change and give that power back to the people where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you. Lafayette! Lafayette! Lafayette!
Who's sitting?
Our city!
Who's sitting?
Our city!
Thank you, Consuela Gaines. I'm now going to introduce Miss Nancy Banks, Lafayette resident, formerly of Shreveport, and Miss Doris Doucet of Abbeville, a member of the Seafood Workers Alliance.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
What kind of speech? Hello, my name is Nancy Banks. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. Shreveport, Louisiana.
Relocation was imperative for me to survive my own and to live comfortably. My life has been a battle of hills and valleys, and not always by my own making. I relocated 6 months ago to Lafayette for better housing and to find a better, decent job. I'm currently on disability, which is not enough to live off of, but that's another rally all by itself.
Yeah.
In the past, I've struggled to maintain my household by working 2 minimum wage jobs so I could put food on the table, buy a few extras, and pay astronomical amounts of bills. The bills always went up in circles. Nevertheless, minimum wage hasn't gone up since July of 2009. The governing authority of a parish may establish a mandatory minimum wage that she was just sharing about that, and would be required to pay most businesses. Would pay for that for good hard work. It's been a struggle and 4 long months transitioning from a motel to senior living with a roommate. I could not financially be able to live by myself unless I maintained those 2 minimum wage jobs. And if it wasn't for the Poor People's Campaign and Mr. Scott helping me to go to doctor's appointments, grocery appointments, and other things, I would have gone back to street.
Thank you. Thank you. That's you got it. Yeah.
Hola, represento. Oh, I'm sorry. Aquí están. Hola, pertenezco a Anlis Lafayette y me han invitado a este lugar y agradezco mucho la invitación y estar aquí reunidos. Mi nombre es Dory Doucet y represento la ciudad de Abbeville en Luisiana.
Yes, hello, my name is Dory Doucet and I belong to Unleash Lafayette and really excited to be here with you, and I am representing the city of Abbeville.
Soy trabajadora del marisco y pescado por 11 años, el cual vengo a solicitarle al gobierno estatal de Lafayette para los salarios que se ha aumentado la hora del salario mínimo.
Yes, and I've been working in the seafood industry for 11 years, and we're here to tell the state today to stop the overreach to be able to lift the wages.
Esto va a ser beneficio personal y para las familias para poder seguir adelante, porque este salario es demasiado bajo, donde no podemos salir adelante las familias con un salario tan bajo.
And this is not only an individual benefit, this is a family benefit, because we're going to be able to move forward and get by as families with better wages.
Estoy agradecida y de todo esto me despido para beneficio de todos.
And I'm very appreciative. Thank you very much, and I hope that this benefits everyone.
Whoa. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Miss Nancy and Miss Doris. I'm now going to introduce a member of Unleash Lafayette, Matthew Isaac, and primary organizer, one of the primary organizers, and Jeremy Chittenden, member of the Democratic Socialists of America, Southwest Louisiana chapter, International Workers of the World Union delegate, and commercial diver.
All right, just give me a quick second. We're going to scroll. It's all right. So, you know, there's some arguments against the idea of returning local control over wages to cities. Jeremy and I are just going to kind of go through a couple of those and just see what we come up with. First thing is, well, Jeremy, if we allowed cities to set their own minimum wages, some would raise the wage above the state minimum. Right now, $7.25. If New Orleans decided to go up to like $10.50, for example, wouldn't that make prices a little bit higher for some of our consumer items?
Real world experience doesn't support this. prices have been steadily increasing for years. Inflation, everything else, those prices go up no matter, it's the seller that's making that price. It's not who's getting paid what. While wages have been remaining the exact same, so this makes it difficult for minimum wage workers to be able to afford the necessities of life that are continuously going up throughout the year. Raising the minimum wage would make a balance to that and make household items like toilet paper and baby diapers affordable.
Yeah, and I'm pretty old now. I'm 50 years old. I grew up in the 1970s. It seems that the minimum wage then was higher in real terms than it is now, by quite a bit actually. I think 1973 was the peak, and actually in today's dollars, the minimum wage in 1973, I think it's something like $22. And we didn't have a lot growing up, but I think we got by. People did seem to survive in the 1970s with a higher minimum wage in real terms than it is today. Another point is, like, okay, so, they have to pay people more. Wouldn't that reduce the number of people they could hire? Wouldn't it just kill jobs? And that's, I think, our number one point. Wouldn't it just kill jobs?
Right. Well, research has shown that higher minimum wage surrounding in different surrounding areas doesn't make an impact on the employment. What a minimum wage have an impact on is the income inequality and severe income inequality. Raising the minimum wage makes it to where those companies don't need to raise prices for the goods because more people will actually be able to afford the goods. Without an increase in minimum wage, sales will never increase because everyone working on minimum wage can't afford to make purchases. If that's not going up, your sales won't go up.
Yeah, and I think we've certainly heard a lot of anecdotal evidence about people not being able to afford personal services anymore, like salons and weird things are going out of business just because people can't afford to pay other people to do things for them anymore. And I always reiterate, just a couple of weeks ago when this campaign was starting, I went to my Family Dollar. I know the people that work at my Family Dollar. They were complaining about having a job, basically just to pay the car note to get them to the job. They can't buy anything else other than, you can't do anything but go to work. It doesn't make sense. What's the point? Okay, so we've got these good arguments, but isn't this all a little bit silly? Does this really apply to a lot of positions anyway? I mean, aren't minimum wage jobs really just for like 16, 17-year-olds working at Dairy Queen before they can like buy records, buy clothes, buy shoes, the things we did in high school?
Right. Well, this was true many years ago. It's no longer the same time that it was then. Most minimum wage workers are the major breadwinners of the house, or you have multiple minimum wage workers that are the breadwinners. They're mothers and fathers who are trying to raise families to survive, and all they have is a minimum wage. Current minimum wage is insufficient even as an entry-level wage. It's no longer possible for a student to work or work part-time, go to school, and then maintain what they need to survive while doing all these things all at once. Just being able to get your lunch while you're in college is a chore. So, on top of the driving.
Yeah, I certainly remember when I went to college in the 1980s, we could pretty much work just in the summer, and maybe now and then during the school year, and afford tuition fairly easily. We didn't have to work a lot during the school year. And certainly in high school, not every job we had to take was minimum wage. It seems that only the very worst jobs then were minimum wage, whereas now, most jobs, many jobs, a huge percentage of the jobs that are on offer are in fact minimum wage, because employers figured out that's all they really have to pay people. They'll give you the minimum that they have to get away with, right? Okay, so I think we're going to turn it back to Jackie now and we'll continue on. So those are some arguments that we often hear. Those arguments tend not to hold water. The minimum wage does need to be lifted up, and one way to do that is to give cities the ability to lift it up in those cities where it's most important.
Thank you very much, Matt and Jeremy. When I say solidarity, you say forever. Solidarity!
Forever!
Solidarity!
Forever!
Solidarity!
Forever!
Solidarity!
Forever!
Solidarity!
Forever!
Yeah! like to introduce Miss Erica Banks of Generate Matters. Erica is a local grassroots organizer, and we are getting her take on this.
Hello, Lafayette. Yay, unleash it, guys. It is past time. My name is Erica Banks, and I am not from here, but I am here now. I'm originally from Dallas. I've been here almost 3 years, and it's been a little bit different. Just a little bit. I heard some things about work and not being able to find good paying jobs for people that have the skill set to get paid for that. And we basically have to change it. What I see now is $7.25, which is not a living wage. And at $7.25, for it to not be a living wage, this basically means, as we said before, we have breadwinners. We have people in this building who are supposed to be protecting us, watching after us, making $7.25 an hour. When I came here, it was under the assumption that it wasn't going to be too much different from Dallas. It's not that far, right? No? Took a $40,000 pay cut. For love, baby. And it's worth it. It was worth it for love. Because not only did I find the love from my husband, I found the love of all the people here in Acadiana who are awesome. And the people here deserve more, they deserve better than $7.25 if they want to be successful. We have to come together. We have to find a way now. It's not about government bashing. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. I want to work with you. I want to support you. We're in this together. It's time to wake up. We got to get up now. Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're talking about this building right here. This is Lafayette Consolidated Government. I forgot to mention kind of what the campaign was, really to begin with. We've got a bill that we're going to introduce in the state legislature, House Bill 422. That's the bill that will lift the ban on cities enacting their own minimum wages. Now, we're having a bit of a struggle because that bill has been moved to a different committee than it was originally slated for, a committee where it is expected to have a harder go of it. So we're really going to have to work hard to unleash Lafayette and unleash the other cities in this state. Now, to do this, we also want to get support from our local council people. So prevail upon, if you don't live in Lafayette, if you live in a different city, visit your city council, visit your local government, take the opportunities that are there to speak when they give public speaking opportunities, usually at least once a month. Meet with your council people, meet with your local representatives, try and get it into their minds. This is something we do need. Having a little bit of trouble getting interest from our own city council here. However, we do have an election coming up this fall for city parish president. We've got a few people running. One of them, Carleon Labar, she has expressed interest. She wants to sit down with us. So find those allies, talk to your city council people, try and get this idea into their minds. Turn it back to Jackie for a minute.
Thank you, Matthew. That was awesome. Last but not least, our next speaker is Mr. Ronnie Martin, labor organizer for Laborers International Union of North America.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Ronnie Martin. I'm the regional organizer for the Laborers Union. I speak on behalf of all workers that's in this area. Because if you take and pay them a poverty wage, you're going to get a poverty production. But if these company owners would take and pay these workers a living wage, not only will the workers be able to prosper themselves and their families, but the production of their job site will be also as well. I've particularly experienced on workers, the construction workers. We've taken some that's making $8, maybe $9 an hour, trained them, put them in the construction field, now they're making a living wage. Now to where they take and they can do things with their families. They don't have to work 2 and 3 jobs. Their children are supervised now, so they can go out and do things with their families, and also be able to buy more things, like this nice TVs or something like this, where they can have. Before, they just struggled. They just struggled by getting by, whether they have to pay the rent one day or the light bill the next. So by giving these workers a living wage, it's a prosperity. It's a good for all businesses and all this. Because why? because your production of your worker will be through the roof. Your companies are going to prosper. They're going to make more money and stuff like this, to where these workers can go buy their goods. So all in all, I think that Unleash Lafayette is a good thing that I want to be part of. Also to reach out to the local government and show them by their citizens here in Lafayette need a living wage. They don't need to live underneath a poverty wage anymore, so that they can take and do things for themselves and their families.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. I believe that ends our lineup. Would anybody else like to speak real briefly? Danilo, would you like to say something? This is Danilo Valladares from the Workers' Justice Center in New Orleans.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danilo Valladares, and I'm an organizer with the Seafood Workers Alliance, and that's who Doris spoke about today. Workers that are also joining this campaign because they understand that it is better for the localities to decide what is good for workers, not for the state to have its overreach and tell Lafayette what they should, how they should treat their workers. There's workers in Abbeville that need different standards than workers in Lafayette, than workers in New Orleans, and workers in Shreveport. And that's what this campaign is about. If you believe that your city should have the power to make its own decisions, this is the campaign for you. So we're calling you to make sure that you join our efforts, that you join in and find out what we're doing so that we can continue. And like they said, this is a community effort across the whole state. This is not just Lafayette coming together. These are cities and localities all across Louisiana saying, unleash local power. Let us decide. So we make a calling out to the community to find out what we're doing. Look us up on Facebook, Unleash Local, Unleash Lafayette. And if you're in a city that you want this to come to your city, let us know. Ping us on Facebook and we'll be there. So thank you very much again, the Seafood Workers Alliance. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Thanks everybody for coming out in the weather. Again, for people at home,
this allegation. Instead, the report recounts 10 episodes involving the president and discusses potential legal theories for
impeach.
but we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about Unleash Local, Unleash Lafayette. Returning local power and local decisions to local people. Power to the people! Power to the people! Join us on Facebook at Unleash Lafayette and Unleash Local. Join us at our website on unleashlocal.org. Thank you.